Coming up next, triangles. On Beyond.
No television show investigating paranormal mysteries could be complete without a look at the Bermuda Triangle and other such triangles that are believed to exist when enigmatic events result in sudden and mysterious disappearances of boats, ships, planes, and people. In these areas, travelers traditionally encounter difficulties with navigation that are sometimes accompanied by anomalies of strange lights and mists, suddenly appearing seemingly out of nowhere. There are such triangles that exist all over the world, and nearly always over bodies of water, whether salt or fresh. Bermuda's so-called Devil's Triangle is perhaps the largest and definitely the highest profile of them all. The objective of the Beyond series has always been to redefine our approach towards paranormal mysteries. We have found that this approach has led to opening up some of the mysteries, and in some cases to discover new answers as a result. Some of these answers have been a mixture of both technical and phenomenal solutions, as with the luminescent orbs, or the proof of forms of life that survive clinical death. Others have been purely technical solutions found in science, such as the translation of messages found in crop circles and other seemingly extraterrestrial creations. In this episode, we think that we may have found an answer to the mystery of the enigmatic triangles, an answer to be discovered not too far across the border from here to the beyond. Defined basically by the points of Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, the Bermuda Triangle has never been accurately described or defined on any credible map. Legend has it that people, ships, and planes have mysteriously vanished in this area. An area that has also been called the Devil's Triangle, as have other similar yet less notorious areas which occupy watery areas all over the world. Although we are focusing tonight on Bermuda, everything we have determined applies to triangles all over the world. How many people have disappeared depends on who is counting, as does the size of the triangle, which varies from 500,000 square miles to about 1.5 million, depending on who is defining the area. Likewise, the history of the triangle tends to change according to the author. Different sources say the mysteries go back 1,000, 700, or 500 years. Whatever the case, we do know that in the past 100 years there have been about 1,000 lives lost to mysterious circumstances in the triangle. The first account of the Bermuda Triangle began with Christopher Columbus. Much of the information we have about Columbus is directly from his journal. He wrote that his compass began acting strangely, but did not report this to his crew due to their superstitious nature. He also described a large ball of light fallen from the sky. Columbus and crew members also sighted dancing lights on the horizon. Since then, 100 ships and planes have been reported missing, taking over 1,000 lives. Some of the most famous events are the Mary Celeste, Flight 19, Army C-45 Superfort vanished, a Tudor 4 lost with 31 lives, 1948, DC-3 lost with 32 lives, second Tudor 4 vanishes, giant U.S. Air Force Globemaster, the 350-foot freighter, SS Sandra sinks without a trace, British York transport plane lost with 33 aboard. U.S. Navy Lockheed Constellation vanishes with 42 aboard. U.S. Navy seaplane Martin P-5M disappears with crew of 10. U.S. Air Force KB-50 tanker plane lost. Marine Sulphur Queen vanishes without a trace. Military YC-122 converted to cargo plane lost. French freighter Milton Latrides disappears. German freighter Anita, 20,000 tons, lost with crew of 32. Passengers disappear from German yacht. More than 50 ships and 20 planes have gone down in the Bermuda Triangle within the last century, as well as a number of reports of near misses from people in planes and boats experiencing problems with compasses. There have been numerous speculations: extraterrestrials, Atlantean crystals, military experiments with anti-gravity devices, and dimensional vortices, to name but a few. Most scientific explanations suggest an unlikely combination of strange magnetic fields, freak weather, thunderstorms, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, high waves, sudden currents, bad luck, pirates, explosive cargoes, incompetent navigators. With tropical weather, many short and intense storms build up and dissipate extremely quickly, undetected by satellite surveillance. These include such dangerous elements as waterspouts that could easily destroy any passing plane or ship. The Coast Guard gets more than 20 distress calls a day. However, most are from the inexperienced sailors who have miscalculated their trip. These do not account for the mysterious disappearances that give triangles their reputation. Scientists have found a great deal of seismic activity in this area. However, this activity is not caused by earthquakes, but could perhaps be caused by submarine gas bubbles. The methane bubble theory. This is the theory that is accepted by many serious scientists. The theory states that a high concentration of gas, hydrates existing in the area in pockets under the ocean floor, are sometimes released, causing the water to become less dense within small patches. This could cause ships to suddenly sink without a trace. Now, although this is a very good theory, and could well be the case, it does not account for all of the mysteries. Mysteries such as engine failures, strange lights, compass disruptions, missing people and missing planes. It may well be part of the mystery, but only a small part.
When investigating the Bermuda and other triangle phenomena, one cannot ignore 8 main categories of events, which are reported with regular frequency and go back as much as 1,000 years in history. From Mayan records to Christopher Columbus to modern day, these 8 main phenomena are repeated. 1. Strange lights in the sky. 2. Strange lights in the ocean. 3. Compass malfunctions. 4. Disappearance of shipping. 5. Disappearance of aircraft. 6. Mechanical malfunctions. 7. Strange coronas and light vortices. 8. Disappearance of crew from undamaged craft. With thousands of such events reported, it is not surprising to see why the triangles have gathered so much interest among paranormal investigators during the past 100 years. Now, let us see what aspects of these phenomena can be logically explained by conditions we have researched in the making of this program.
Some question that there is any mystery to the triangles at all, and that all the events have rational explanations. Some skeptics say that few writers did any real investigation into the mysterious events, but rather they picked up the speculations of their predecessors as if they were truth and adopted them without research. It is our conclusion, however, that there are a number of mysterious things happening there, most of which can be understood when we return.
Now, let us see what aspects of these phenomena can be logically explained by conditions we have researched in the making of this program. 1. Strange lights in the sky, radon gas or solar storm. 2. Strange lights in the ocean, radon gas. 3. Compass malfunctions, radon gas and or solar storm. 4. Disappearance of shipping, methane gas bubbles, which are also the medium by which radon is released from the ocean bed. 5. Disappearance of aircraft, piston malfunction due to arcing caused by radon gas. 6. Mechanical malfunctions, radon gas. 7. Strange coronas and light vortices, radon gas and or solar storm combined with winds. 8. Disappearance of crews. No known explanation. So, 7 out of 8 of these anomalies occur because of either methane gas bubbles being released from the ocean bed, which carry with them radon gas due to the uranium-rich deposits known to be present in that area of the seafloor. Worth noting here that what distinguishes the Bermuda Triangle from other areas of the ocean is that it is ground zero for one of the largest meteor impacts on Earth, which also accounts for the mineral-rich nature of the ocean floor in that area. A number of first-hand accounts of pilots surviving events whilst flying over the area report very similar anomalies. They often run into trouble, losing power or combustion, with strange effects on navigation instrumentation and compasses. They even report strange effects on the brain accompanying these lights. As these accounts come from survivors, usually they have been able to restart their craft at some point. For example, wind currents may have blown the radon gas away from the craft, or perhaps the pocket of gas was passed through quickly enough to regain control of the piston-driven engines. However, none of these rational explanations account for the 8th most popular seemingly paranormal event that has captured the imaginations of so many people since the Marie Celeste was discovered in the Azores. Marie Celeste was launched in Nova Scotia, Canada in 1860 under the name of Amazon. She was catalogued as a 103-foot, 280-ton half-brick. She had the reputation of being a cursed ship due to the fact that during her first 10 years, she was involved in several accidents at sea. Eventually, she was put up for salvage in auction in New York and purchased for $3,000. Her new owners fixed her up and put her under the American registry with the new name of Marie Celeste. Some conjecture this was in an attempt to hinder the craft's run of bad luck, or at least its reputation. The newly appointed captain of the Marie Celeste was Benjamin Briggs, an experienced master with 3 prior commands to his credit. Her first and only voyage under Briggs was on November 7th, 1872, and was to be her last. Accompanying Briggs was his wife, daughter, and a crew of 8. The ship was loaded with 1,700 barrels of alcohol bound for Genoa, Italy. A boarding party discovered the Marie Celeste adrift and unmanned with no sign of crew or passengers. There was no evidence of violence, piracy, or foul play. The British Board of Inquiry could not fathom any conclusions as to the fate of the passengers and crew. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote a fictionalized version of the Marie Celeste, which fired public attention and led to many differing versions of the tale. Herein lies the issue that some would say quite rightly disqualifies it as a Bermuda Triangle phenomenon. The ship left from New York and was discovered empty in the Azores, therefore was never connected with the Triangle on its last voyage. Now, although the Marie Celeste has been disproven relative to the Triangle, it is representative of the vessels that have been discovered abandoned or mysteriously empty in the Bermuda and other triangles. Most recently, a yacht with 30 missing passengers and crew. One such case and explanation which came to our attention recently in the Beyond offices was when we met an extraordinary 5-year-old psychic boy by the name of Kieran, who told us he knew all about triangles and had met the ghost of a dead landscape painter who had been killed in a vortex in a lake in Ontario. Tom Thompson was the painter's name.
At Canoeing Lake, well, my dad took me out there. I saw that ghost.
He does have an interest in art, but I didn't even know the story of Tom Thompson.
Wildlife painter.
A member of the famed Group of Seven.
And he never came back alive after his fishing trip.
According to Kieran, he had been sucked into a sudden whirlpool and then lifted into a vortex and dropped onto rocks where he struck his head and died. Thompson had gone missing for several weeks before his body was discovered. Ontario and Quebec have a number of lakes that have triangle-type phenomena attached to them. Kieran said the police would have known more about the accident if they had paid more attention to the pattern of the fishing tackle, which was wound in circles around Tom's legs.
He was in his canoe. This drove into that whirlpool.
He was one of the Group of Seven. He was a landscape painter, and that he had been missing for 2 weeks and nobody knew what happened to him. His death was a mystery.
This drove into that whirlpool.
When radon gas passes upward from uranium deposits within the Bermuda Triangle, once it reaches the atmosphere, it would ionize a column of air and make it very electrically conductive. The greatly increased electrical conductivity of the air would explain certain other mysterious effects, like the electrical equipment failing, and engines sputtering and even dying. Coronal arcing would occur in piston-driven engines without electrically shielded high-tension wiring. I would not rule out high-energy particles as a possible cause of some of the phenomena. In addition to massive magnetic disturbances, they could also ionize the upper atmosphere. Little is still known of the effects these particles create in the stratosphere because of the paucity of electrical data. But if the interplanetary magnetic field is south during a massive coronal ejection, the extreme energy particles would not be deflected by the magnetosphere and consequently broadside the Bermuda Triangle region.
The manifestation of these effects would be expected to include such phenomena as vortex clouds, electric mists, magnetic upheavals, and thus accounting for almost all the triangle mysteries, except for the sudden disappearance of ships. But these disappearances can be explained by the submarine emission of gases, which we have already established and go hand in hand with radon gas emissions.
Next time on Beyond, reincarnation. In this fourth season of Beyond, we will examine some of the major myths and legends of the paranormal, many of which have woven themselves into the fabric of our culture. Many are interconnected with other subjects in this and other seasons of Beyond. Sometimes the research leads to answers. Sometimes answers from science, sometimes from spiritual realms, sometimes from somewhere in between. Mysteries that inspire the imagination and compel us to seek an answer.
So it would seem that the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle may be resolved by applying knowledge gleaned from areas of science that are not related to oceanography, climate, or even debunking. That solar storms may have more to do with the triangle mysteries than tropical storms. The effect of radon gas can account for nearly all of the mysteries related to Bermuda and other triangles. Radon gas can also account for certain other phenomena around the world, normally associated with UFO phenomena such as strange lights, mechanical failure, and magnetic aberrations. Just about the only triangle phenomenon that cannot be explained by either radon or methane gases are the disappearances of people from ships or crafts, which have been found in an undamaged yet deserted state, such as with the movie Celeste. And in this respect, at least that famous ship remains firmly adrift in the uncharted waters which lie beyond.